Hi guys, it's Pam here from Salon Savvy and it's Q&A Monday again. So I didn't get any requests for specific topics today, and I've been giving some thought to what I believe is an important part of running a salon, and that is time management. Now, I've worked with a lot of salon owners, and one thing that always crops up during our sessions together is that they say to me, but Pam, I'd love to be able to do all of these things, but I just don't have the time. So time is a very important part of your toolkit in terms of running a successful business. So let's take a look at why time is so important to you. Well, the simple fact of the matter is that time is money, and you've probably heard that 1,000 times, if not 1,000,000 times. Time is money. And in actual fact, if you believe that you're in the business of selling services to your clients, then you're actually mistaken, because what you're actually doing is selling your time. And time is finite. We can't kind of buy a bit more when we're running tight. So we're forced to make the most of the time that we're given. And it's really important, to me at least, as a business owner, that I divide my time up so that I've got a good balance between business time, leisure time, and sleeping time. Sleeping time is very important. But most salon owners that I work with have young families, and they want to maximise the time that they have with their little ones and their hubbies, because really that's what working is all about, isn't it? It's about creating a better life for your family and for yourself. So learning how to manage your time is super important, very high on my list of priorities, and I'd like to share a few tips with you today to help you make the most of your time. And one thing that you really need to remember is that all the successful business people, all the successful leaders in this world are all very good time managers. So we need to take a leaf out of their book and really make a concerted effort to get much more effective in managing our time. So how do you make more time in your day? Well, I think one of the most important things that you need to learn how to do is to delegate. Delegate and outsource. For those of you who can't delegate to anyone, if you're a solopreneur and don't have anybody else to kind of hand the work over to. But let me tell you this, one thing that I learned in my salon is that most of the girls who came to me had a past life. In other words, they did other things before they became beauty therapists, and they had some fantastic talents, and those talents ranged from being very computer savvy, or good communicators, or great at doing paperwork, or the list goes on. And I'm pretty sure that nearly every salon out there has got staff who've got other qualifications. So what we're going to do is learn how to tap into those qualifications, and this allows us to delegate some daily, weekly, monthly tasks over to staff members. So the first thing that you really need to do is to get to know a little bit about your staff and their past lives. What are they good at? Where do they tick the boxes? What are their extra skills apart from, delivering great facials and a fantastic bikini wax? Because they're going to have them. And when you're delegating, it's really important to make sure that you've chosen the right person for the right job. It's pointless trying to give somebody who is absolutely dreadful in one arena, like no computer skills whatsoever, for instance, and expect them to do, your social media marketing and things like that, because they're just going to fumble along and they're not going to know what to do, and they're not going to be using their time effectively. So get to know your staff, get to know what they're really good at. Very few salons have got situations where their team members are booked out 100% of the time. So this means that you can take that downtime and turn it around into using that very effectively. In my last salon, I had a therapist who was, really good at doing communication with the clients, And so I was able to delegate a big chunk of the things that I'd been doing beforehand to her, and she did those at a time when she was traditionally quiet. So, you know, you've got to identify the day of the week and then maybe set up your team members to do jobs. So there's so many different things it could be. It could be putting together your newsletter. It could be, you know, contacting new clients for follow-ups. It could be, you know, doing your social media marketing. That's such a big thing these days, staying on top of your social media marketing. Even doing some of your book work. You know, these girls have got these skills. I know that there's some things that you probably wouldn't want to hand over, some things with a bit of delicate information like wages, things like that. But certainly look for the skills that your staff have got, and delegate effectively out to these therapists so that they can take some of the workload, some of the business management stuff off your shoulders, and that leaves you much more time for effective planning and leadership and good business management. Now, for those of you who don't have people to do this, I think it's really important to find the areas that you're very weak in and that you struggle. And you know, when you're weak in something, it takes you like twice as long to get it done at least. Because I do copywriting for salons and spas, I know a lot of salon owners out there really struggle with their writing. And so, you know, communicating with your clients is such an important aspect of being in business. So, you know, if you really can't do it, outsource it. You know, get somebody else to take it off your shoulders so that it's getting done regularly, it's getting done professionally, and it leaves you time to do the things that you're much better at doing. You know, if you've got to spend $100 or $120 to get a newsletter written up, then, you know, you've got to think, well, if I'd spent, you know, my time on that, I might have been working on that for 2 or 3 hours and still not be really happy with the outcome. So what's your time worth? What can you do in 2 or 3 hours? If you're working with clients, what does that mean to you? $300, $400? So, you know, it's not a good way to spend your time struggling with things that you're not really good at and coming up with a non-professional result. So think about how you can outsource it if you can't delegate it in-house to your staff members. Now, when you do delegate things, obviously you've found the right person, you've decided what jobs you're going to do them. It's really important to be clear about what your expectations are when you hand over this job, and some training is going to be involved. But the great thing is usually the big training happens once and then it's over and done with and they're set up and they're ready to go. But you need to be really clear about your objectives. So when you, say, hand over your role of social media, you've got to be clear about what you're trying to achieve. Are you wanting to promote some products? Are you wanting to get clients to book in for appointments? You know, your staff member who's doing this job needs to know what your expectations are. So be very clear about what you want them to actually do, how you want them to do it, though how you want them to do it, don't get into micromanagement. People have different skills, different way of approaching things, but you might like to suggest how you go about it and ask them if they can think of a better way to do it so that they can kind of approach it their own way. When you want it done, I would suggest that perhaps you look at, you know, when are their traditional quiet times in the week, and suggest that might be a good time for them to do it. Or if it's social media, you know, what time of the day you would like it done. Might say first thing in the morning, or, you know, last thing at night, whatever suits your salon best. And also what you're trying to achieve from it. So how, when, where and why are the parameters there. Make sure your team members understand all of those expectations, and also make sure you go back and revisit the work after they've done it, so that, you know, they don't get off on the wrong foot. You don't want them doing a lot of something and then finding out it's not what you really wanted. So come back and revisit it, you know, and have a little look at if it's what you're looking for, and maybe give them some guidance and feedback on what you want done. And that's how you effectively delegate. No point giving a person a job without giving them that information and helping them to achieve the right outcome and then coming back and being unhappy with the result. It's up to you to make sure they've got the information and the knowledge and the skill set to do the job that you're giving them. So delegating, super important. If you can't delegate, look at things that you can outsource that are eating up tons of your time, that you could really be doing better things with that time. Another thing to think about is when it comes to freeing up time is how you book yourself out. Now, most salon owners are also working with clients, and which is great because it keeps them in touch with what's going on and everything like that. But you also need to be clear about how to book your appointments effectively, so that instead of having a 15-minute spot here and a 15-minute spot there and a 15-minute spot there, you might have 3 or 4 hours a week where you have just got dead spots in your personal appointment column. Now, that's just purely a waste of time. And in a minute, I'm going to get you to do a little exercise to show you what it's not just a waste of time, but a waste of money as well. But all of those spots should be able to be brought together to give you a lovely big chunk of time to work on your business, to work on some of the important stuff. So have a look back over your appointment book and try to pinpoint a part of your week where you are traditionally quiet. In my salon, I had a really dead spot on Thursday afternoons. We used to have a late night Thursday night, but from about 12 o'clock to about 3 to 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I was pretty quiet, as were most of my staff. It was actually a great time for us to hold team meetings and do lots of things like that. But that was traditionally a dead spot. So what I was able to do was basically take myself out of the appointment book for those times, so that, if people did want appointments, they could either book at another time, in the evening, in the morning, or on another day. And I could dedicate myself to doing all of those things that so many salon owners tell me, but Pam, I just don't have time. Because the time is there. I promise you, the time is there. It's just scattered all over the place. So you've got to work towards bringing that together to a nice big solid chunk of time, because you can't do anything in 15-minute chunks. By the time you start on it, go away, do a facial, come back and try to work on it for another 15 minutes. You spend 10 of that 15 minutes revisiting what you've already done to try and freshen your mind. Where am I at? What do I got to do next? That's a really bad way to do things. So you need to have a nice big chunk of time, and you need to block it out, and you need to be solid with that. You need to block it out, because that's your business management and planning time. And that same time slot could also be a very good time for other staff members to be doing delegated tasks as well, if it's just a traditionally quiet part of your appointment time. So learning how to book your clients in effectively, so that you bring all those chunks together and you've got a nice big fat, couple of hours of time to work on your business. That's the way to do it. Every salon I know does have that specific, quiet day when they can, they're sitting around doing nothing, twiddling their thumbs. It tends to happen on a regular basis. It's part of the flow of the business. So go and look for that, and maybe start out by just blocking out 1 or 2 hours of time. Now, that's not a big ask, because I can guarantee you are standing around in your salon for more than 1 or 2 hours a week, probably doing next to nothing. Once you've blocked out that time, it's important to use it wisely. Now is not the time for you to maybe go and get your hair done, or have your nails done, or go and weed the garden out the front of your salon, as some of my salon owners have been known to do. It's not your downtime, it's your planning time. So I want you to make a list of the important things that need to be done in your salon in terms of management. It might be marketing, it just might be staff training, it might be product knowledge, it might be there's so many different things, even one-on-one staff reviews. But there are bound to be a whole list of things that need to be done that you're not getting to. It might be writing a newsletter if you're a good writer. It could be anything. Every salon's different because every salon owner's got different skill sets and different strengths. But I want you to identify in writing, because you've got to write it down. That's super important, to make an actual list. Write it down. Don't type it out. Get a pencil and paper and write it down. I don't know why, but it does something to your brain and it helps keep you focused. So write it all down, and then I want you to prioritise what needs to get done. So something I know that I've dealt with a lot is newsletter, and a lot of my salon owners say, oh, I want to do a monthly newsletter, Pam, but I just never seem to have time. And, you know, they'll do one month and then they'll run out of time and they won't do one for another 3 months. That's a terrible way to do a newsletter, and your clients really will lose interest very fast if you start doing that kind of thing. Newsletters are super important because they keep you, you know, top of mind in between visits to your salon or spa. So, you know, finding time to do these kind of things is really important. So prioritise the things that you know are important but aren't currently getting done, and make sure you use that time to work on those things. Give yourself a little goal. Say, look, I've got 2 hours here. I can complete 3 segments of my newsletter in that 2 hours, and don't get distracted, don't get sidetracked, don't make yourself available for walk-ins and things like that. Surely you've got other staff, or do your best not to have any interruptions during that time, and really get stuck in, have a goal to get something achieved, and get it done. Use the time effectively. Don't waste that precious time, because you really can't get it back, and it's 24 hours in a day, that's all we've got. And that way too, you can get so much more done during your working day, and it means that you're not going home at night thinking about all of these jobs, or sitting on your computer doing jobs that should be getting done during the day. So learn to condense in those little blocks of time that you've got all over your appointment book, and make a good solid chunk of time. Prioritise your list. Work on that list. Let me tell you, you're going to feel fabulous for being able to achieve these things that you haven't been able to achieve before. Now, your time is money. I said I'd go through something with you a little bit earlier, so I will. I want you to think about this. All those 15-minute spots that you've got in your appointment book, I want you to go back for, say, 3 months, and I want you to add up all the time where you've been doing nothing, dead time. Okay, all those little spots that aren't earning you any money. Now add them all up. Now you might find that you've had 15 hours of downtime. So what's 15 hours of downtime worth to you? It's worth a lot. It really is. And at the moment it's sitting there going to waste. What could you have done in those 15 hours? How valuable is that time? It's super valuable. In that 15 hours, you could have been developing salon promotions to bring more money in, to keep your staff working harder. Time is just such an important aspect of your business. And if you've never thought about time management before, now's the time to start thinking about it, because good time management in your business is going to make a big difference to your, not only to your achievement, but also to how much you're getting done in the day, and how much more in control you're going to feel of your business. So that's it for today. Time management, really important, and try and get your head around it, and I will try and post some links in the Salon Savvy Beauty Biz group for you to have a look at, some articles to good time management. So I hope you really enjoyed our little talk today. I know I did, and I will see you again at this time next week. Bye for now.